The 2016 Pirelli World Challenge GT Series enters its final 3 rounds at a road racing gem just west of Salt Lake City, Utah. The championship chase gets down and dirty. It's a high elevation duel in the desert, and it starts now. Just a few miles from the Great Salt Lake lies Utah Motorsports Camp near Tooele, Utah, a remarkable road racing facility, and today it hosts the next rounds of the Pirelli World Challenge GT Championships. It is the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Utah Motorsports Campus, presented by EnergySolutions. Hi everybody, I'm Greg Kramer, joined as always by Calvin Fish. And Cal, we just got to get right into these Pirelli storylines because they're so compelling, and the first one is this track itself.
Well, it is so unique, Greg. We're over 4,000 feet above sea level. That really creates some issues with the efficiencies of the race car in terms of cooling, for the brakes, for the engines, and the power plants themselves. It's a real balancing act for the series to get the balance of performance just right. Add to that, the teams need to get the drag out of the race car. It's that 3/4 of a mile front straightaway here.
It's a heck of a challenge. Now, we've had some great developments in the last race in particular. Michael Cooper had a stellar run. He's back in championship contention, but it's not going to be easy.
It is not. Brent continues to perform very well, the leader right now, but for Michael Cooper, we knew he wouldn't just be an understudy to Johnny O'Connell this year. He's come in with a bang, second win on the season. He's right back in championship contention, and boy, oh boy, if he could pull off another title here, he'd be only the second man in history to have a TC title, GTS, and then GT.
And of course, Cadillac swept here last year, but Cal, the third Pirelli storyline we have involves the always evolving Nissan team and driver J.D. Davison. Folks, he came into Mid-Ohio on probation. There's a very hard and fast rule in the rule book. While on probation, if you're involved in any additional kind of infraction, doesn't matter what it is, you have to step out of the car for a race. Well, he had that contact at Mid-Ohio, so he had to step out for the first race here. He's elected to stay out for both races to allow the driver that's going to be driving to run the second race and get the best qualifying position that they can based on those fast laps from that first race. Manufacturer and team points are so crucial. That was why.
Well, it's a great step there by JD. He's a hard racer, tough to sit out a whole race weekend, but the opportunity for Craig Dolby, the young Brit who's been drafted in, is immense. Nissan are looking to expand into a 3-car operation potentially for next year. The team has run Craig in Blancpain Series last year. He's a real talent. Be interesting to see how he stacks up against the series this weekend.
Yeah, it's a test under fire for Craig Dolby so far. He's been pretty darn impressive. Now, we talked about the great racing that unfolded at Mid-Ohio at the most recent 2 rounds. It's time to take a look at what happened there with our Kia Rewind. And as always at Mid-Ohio, a huge crowd on hand. Very special racetrack, and all the fans know it. For us in Cindric, even more special.
Well, his grandparents developed this circuit. It's a beautiful one, and Cindric put in a beautiful lap to claim the pole.
But at the start, it got close, it got fierce, and as they headed into turn 4, Cal, mid-pack, there's some contact.
There was. Thompson to the inside of J.D. Davison. There's a bump. Pirelli was involved, and then carnage ensued.
So as the field tried to straighten things out, they got back to racing, but Pat Long suddenly into the pits, a drive-through penalty. Why? This contact.
Tried to make a big move here up into the keyhole. Inside of Colin Thompson, turns him around, ruins his day, and he wouldn't see action any further this weekend.
That too had points implications. Great racing, and Austin Cindric not making it easy on his factory teammate. However, he was not able to get the pass done, Cal, and Parent, huge point today.
It was, and a 1-2 finish for the team as they celebrate.
Yeah, very special for them. For Mike Shine, he didn't need to be as nervous as he looked here because he drove a brilliant race. Dominant win on the weekend and bringing home another one in GTA. Just a superb run for him, and for Alec Udell, the win streak continues.
Well, another young man very much on a roll at the moment. He's got great momentum, great confidence, and again, another brilliant victory here.
Yeah, his 8th on the season. You could see Yuri kept it close. It was going to get closer for those guys in the next round of the championship. But Michael Cooper put in a lap, Cal, in that race that got him outside the front row, and he repeated his Barber magic.
He was not to be denied. He puts it around the outside of Alvaro Brent, but watch Ryan Eversley. So racy in these opening laps. He makes a move on Brent. Brent's day didn't get any better.
It didn't. Got forced off the track in traffic. Got a lot of grass. Watch right here. The catalytic converter ignited. It was so hot, he had to pit. It was a long stop, Cal. dropped him way down the order, and it brought Cooper right back into contention.
Well, very much so. Ryan Eversley, another brilliant performance in the runner-up spot.
And Mike Shine, once again, ruling the day in GTA. However, Martin Fuentes back there in that white-black Ferrari kept it a lot closer, but he just could not find a way around the momentum of Mike Shine right now, who brought home his 6th win in the GTA category. And for Alec Udell, well, early on in the going, it was the number 20 of Yuri from the pole, Cal, that looked like it might be his day, but these two guys raced so hard, and it got close.
What a battle here as they come through the S's. Yuri to the inside, they rub, they touch, Yuri catches little air, but Udell was on for another victory.
Brought it home, his 9th on the season, and of course expanded an already growing points margin. Well, Mid-Ohio always produces some great racing, no question about that. What a place. But now we come to this remarkable facility, and already this weekend there's been some developments. So we're going to meet our third member of our broadcast team, Jeff Lepper, with some updates on some good and bad news.
Well, thank you, Greg. Yeah, a couple stories here. The number 77 car that Andrew Davis and Preston Calvert's been campaigning now in the GTA category had an oil line come loose, huge fire. Probably the car's been written off, so they are done. We will not see Preston Calvert in the GTA category, probably for the remainder of the season. He did get a Sprint X win, however, with Michael Lewis's car. Frankie Montecalvo, the team took there at that time Racing Road America off. That gave them some time to really get ahead of the 8 ball and get that Mercedes SLS AMG up to speed. He's on pole here today. And don't count out the local folks here, Sloan Uri and the debut of McKay Snow, both in GT Cup categories. Some locals from Utah to be able to cheer for.
All right, Jeff, thanks very much. Unfortunate for what happened with the 77 Porsche, but it's time for our Porsche race analysis. Just over 3 miles, very quick, 15 turns running the outer loop, Cal. But one of the big stories here, it may be desert, it may be elevation, but it's heat.
Well, it's warm here for round 1 of this GT Championship, but for the next day, tomorrow, it could be Africa hot. So these teams and drivers have really got to get ready for that.
And of course, the challenge of the track itself, we've talked about it. It's time for you to see it from the driver's seat with one of the best in the business, our Porsche track preview with Pat Long.
Welcome to the Utah Motorsport Campus. I'm Patrick Long, driver of the 58 Wright Motorsports GT3R, and this is your Porsche track preview with Replay XD. Down the front straightaway, very picturesque, beautiful skyline, long, wide straightaway, hard braking down into turn 1, about the 2 board. It's a late apex, use all the racetrack on the exit. It's a 3rd gear corner, about 80 miles an hour. Now you're into a rhythm section of a right, left, right, very quick, fun section. Really trying to blend, keeping that minimum speed up, but hitting your marks perfectly and carrying as much momentum as you can. A little bit of a short shoot into the hardest brake zone. Turn 5, 2nd gear, good overtaking opportunity here. Wide exit, it sort of opens up as you accelerate, so you open the steering wheel. Hustle the car back over left for turn 6. I like to do a late apex. Some people do a double apex diamond. The key is that you get a good exit here and use all the racetrack for another long straightaway heading into a very quick turn 7. 4th gear, not even a full lift, carrying all the speed but a decreasing radius, and you're approaching a very tight attitudes chicane section, as you see, using all of the road and all of the curbs. They're quite flat, so you can get a GT car up on top of them. Turn 11, Tuella turn in early, pick up the throttle, use all of the extended curb on the exit. That corner, you could really squeeze every little 10th out. Into the last section, this is a very tight section. Really have to blend patience and traction. Turn 14 and now approaching the final corner, turn 15. As much banking here as any corner on the track. Key is good exits for the long straightaways. That's 1 lap here in Tuella, Utah. Great to be back. Excellent place to run at.
Wow, what an incredible lap this place does present. But Cal, you already talked about it. 3,500-foot front straight. I'm not sure there's a longer run anywhere in the season into our stop deck braking zone.
Well, it's a big one down into turn 1. The good news is you have a lot of time to think about it. The bad news is you have a lot of time to think about it. So if you're up front trying to protect, you can try and squeeze that guy down to the inside. And if you make him run wide on the exit, there's a lot of dust there running in the desert, of course. It's very dusty out there, so the repass is possible.
Well, you're absolutely right. Any kind of a breeze or drop in tires here, this place gets almost diabolical. But we've already talked about running at elevations and the challenges that presents. Well, Jeff Lepper has decided to get a little bit more in-depth. How do you do it with turbos and normally aspirated cars? Here's our tech spotlight.
Does it help having turbocharged engines versus the normally aspirated?
Well, the turbocharger poses its own unique challenges for us as tuners. We have to properly measure and monitor the amount of oxygen going in so we can get the correct air-fuel ratio coming out. The second part of the challenge for us is that the series, from event to event, will issue what's called a barometric pressure reference. That reference is designed to balance the performance between the naturally aspirated cars and the cars that run forced induction. We have to then go back into our calibration and adapt for that reference so that our output meets our requirements for the air-fuel mixture, which we found works well in the dyno, and staying legal with what the series limits are.
What are some of the stuff when you come to altitude that you might watch or monitor that would be different than when we're at sea level racing a normally aspirated car?
Well, with the thin air here, we always get a little hotter, and the car always runs a little hotter. The problem with that is it knocks timing out the car, which knocks horsepower out the car, and that's where we suffer when we're at altitude. The only thing we can do is try and get better cooling, but it's difficult because all the parts have been homologated, so that's the biggest struggle for us when we come here.
Well, it's always a battle for turbo to normally aspirated, especially when we come to Utah Motorsports Campus.
Obviously, there's a lot of things for these teams to deal with. That's a good point about the cooling. You even alluded to it. It's huge here. But both of the races now are rolling starts in the Pirelli World Challenge GT category. And Cal, that means they're going to encounter the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone. How does that work?
On starts and restarts, as the pace car exits the track, the field enters the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone. The lead car will be responsible for maintaining a speed from 50 to 55 miles per hour, and at the starter's discretion, the green flag will come out and everyone will unleash their VP Racing fuel.
Well, Cal, we know generally it's pole sitters that tend to get into that VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone the first. And here, not only a new track record, but a 6th pole on the season. Alvaro Perrin wins our Motul Pole Award in GT. That means it's an opportunity to chat with Jeff.
It feels great on pole. It was a track that I knew about less, as there's not a lot of images from last year, or it's quite fresh, on the calendar. But challenging track, great, wide. Some areas, tricky areas, curbs that you can use, some you can't. So I really enjoyed it, and we managed to pull off a good lap this morning.
Wow, what a performance he is putting on this year, but another great performance in GTA with the Motul Pole Award. Frank Montecalvo in the Dime Mercedes, also a track record at a 1 minute 48.612, 101 plus miles an hour. And in GT Cup, Alec Udell obliterating the track record by over 0.6 of a second. The new one, a 1 minute 52.568, an average speed of almost 98 miles an hour in the GT Cup Motul Pole Award division. And with that, it is time for us to get to the front of the grid for that very special command in racing. And today, perhaps more special than it has been in a long time, making his return to the Pirelli World Challenge paddock for the first time since Lime Rock, one of the drivers involved in that warm-up crash. Our command coming from Jorge De La Torre.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. Yeah, certainly special here with Jorge De La Torre returning to the Pirelli World Challenge paddock, doing the rehab here as we get set for the Utah Motorsports Campus Grand Prix on behalf of EnergySolutions with Optima Battery and, of course, Pirelli Tire North America, and from Aston Martin Racing, Jorge De La Torre Racing. Jorge, would you be the honor here and give us the command to start engines?
Drivers, start your engine.
That is just so special to see that young man walking around, big smile on his face, saying the rehab is going phenomenally.
It really is, and it's just great news to see him back in the paddock. And I also got a little bit of an insight to Andrew Palmer. It seems to be doing well, so our thoughts are with Andrew, of course, in terms of a full recovery, and great to see Jorge back here in Utah.
Absolutely, and it is time for us to get underway with some racing here. Brent on pole again, just keeps expanding that points lead.
Well, it's huge. I mean, with 7 bonus points for the pole position, it's added up over the course of the year. It's 6 pole position, but one of those he didn't earn. So it's 35 bonus points with the 5 that he did earn. But more importantly today, Michael Cooper really threw himself right back into this championship chase with that win at Mid-Ohio. So not only did Alvaro gain the 7, he stopped Michael from getting 7. So it's like a 14-point swing right there.
All 3 classes, new track records. Very impressive what we're seeing here. And, of course, the field being led around by the Cadillac ATS-V pace car. Absolutely remarkable piece of equipment. Thank you so much to Cadillac. The field being followed by the Escalade from Cadillac, our official safety vehicle. That's a biggie. And, folks, we're going to step away here before we get ready to go racing. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Pirelli World Challenge on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Pirelli. Power is nothing without control. And by the Cadillac V-Series, the first ever 464 horsepower 2016 ATS-V coupe and sedan, and the all-new 640 horsepower CTS-V super sedan. The Pirelli World Challenge on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Motul, official lubricant of the Pirelli World Challenge. And by Porsche. There is no substitute.
Welcome back to Utah Motorsports Campus as we are ready to go racing round 15 of the GT Cup, round 16 of GT and GTA about to unfold. First of the doubleheaders here at Utah Motorsports Campus, and there are your top few cars. Michael Cooper taking up position here along the outside. All three classes track records. And let's take a look now at our Kia Quad Box featuring the remarkable views from these Replay XD cameras. And boy, are they going to give us a great look as this race unfolds today in this desert air. And into the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone the field comes. Pace car is ducked into the pits, and now it is up to Alvaro Parent and the starter as the field comes onto the front straight, and we are green. And look at the move by Cooper. He got a nose ahead, but Parent read it, and Heitkotter literally shoving him along, Cal.
Well, Heitkotter tried to split the gap there, thought better of it, and it's like literally he's bump drafting Alvaro Parent down to turn one. Cooper's trying to come back. Colin Thompson deep to the inside.
But Heitkotter!
To the outside.
Does he make it stick though, Cal? And he does. Oh, but we got a spin. Lewis going around.
Wow, what a move by Brian Heitkotter. Fantastic stuff.
Parent second, third. Ooh, and look at this, Colin Thompson. That was a great launch. Colin Thompson up from 7th on the grid, Cal, and he just stuck it up into the 4th spot, going underneath Fogarty.
Well, once again, we saw a brilliant start by Colin Thompson. Fogarty dives down to the inside for the BlackRock hairpin and makes the move.
You think he was testing the ABS pretty heavily there, that car?
He was
and look at Thompson coming
comes back at him side by side before they get ready for this right-hander. Fogarty has the line.
Thompson stays there, but he's got to close in at one point because Long is still there. And another great start by the Acuras. And and here comes Thompson again, heading into Witchcraft. You got to be a little farther along to make that happen. But Spencer Pumpelly, in only his second event, driving Acura, filling in for Petey Cunningham while he works on that NSX program, Cal, out-qualified his much more experienced teammate in these cars, Ryan Eversley.
Yeah, and you see those Acuras all over that curbing there through the attitudes, and that's one thing they didn't do in qualifying. There's a late note to the drivers in terms of being able to use that in terms of not exceeding track limits, and we're understanding we're under full course caution. Yeah, that incident probably down in turn one.
Yeah, it didn't look like Lewis was able to get that car going. Oh my. Had a big win earlier today, and as you said, great track knowledge, excited about what might unfold here after that win in Sprint X, and now the car is stationary in turn one. And so things are going to be settling here just a little bit, and we'll see what happens. But I'll tell you, I think Ryan Eversley did it again. Ryan getting up and making up a couple of spots here. But let's go back and take a look at the replay in our GT Cup category start. And remember, Udell on pole after he obliterated the track record. And you can see McKay Snow on the outside. They come up, pick up their green flag. And it looked like Sloan Uri, by the end of the lap, was leading. Cal, see what he does.
Well, he's got about 500 guests here this weekend. This is his hometown. He's got friends and family and business partners here, so it was a brilliant start. At the end of the lap, he has the lead.
Yep, just able to get around Alec Udell and just got a great run down into turn one. So he leads it here with Udell second and McKay Snow. And that if you're interested here in Utah, you have recognized that United Industrial Sales imagery on the hood of that car. That is a company that's been with the Snow family for a long time. But let's go back now and take a look at the original start here, Cal.
Watch on the third, fourth row. Colin Thompson in particular, that orange car dukes out really early. Times it again. Heitkotter goes. Now watch him. He tries to split the gap there. Thinks better of it. Cooper doesn't have the horsepower, it seems, to compete with those two guys on the run down to the first corner.
And that's where Eversley made up his ground. Look at that. There's that scrum of cars that were four abreast. I think it was Eversley once again was able to come through and make up some ground.
Also saw those Acuras on the warm-up lap and even on the first lap really abusing those curbs over through the attitudes. Talking to some of the drivers, it's worth 3 to 4 tenths on their qualifying lap, but you absolutely shake the chassis to pieces and you can break components by doing that. So they're just feeling it out. They hadn't been using it in the testing. They didn't do it in qualifying, so they're trying to see if there's an advantage.
Now here's a look at the end of that 3,500 foot straight down into turn 1, and it's where Heitkotter popped out and got that better angle in, but watch Lewis mid-pack.
Lewis right in the middle of the pack there. I'm not sure if he's going to get turned. It's Thompson to the inside. He just runs out wide.
So, but that's why we are under full course caution here at Utah Motorsports campus. And there is your pace car. We're watching to see. It's usually this area of the track, Cal, where the lights go out on the pace. And there they go. So we are going to be going right back to racing. And nice work by the removal crews here, the EVs, if you will, to get Lewis's car removed. And it may be just simple that he needed a bump start, and he might be able to rejoin. So we'll keep an eye for him at the back of the field.
Yeah, he'll be a man on a charge, but it's a disappointing start to his day, having come off that Sprint X victory. And as I said, he should have got a really good read on the car for the long green flag run, so the promise has been thwarted early.
There is Alvaro Parent, who's now looking at the back of that Nissan GT Academy Nismo Nissan here as the field makes its way into the last 2 corners. I love the names, wind up and release. It's perfect here. And the pace car is in, so now Heitkotter leads the field around. And he has really been impressive the last couple of years, and certainly this season shown some great racecraft. Boy, and again, Colin Thompson just times these things extremely well. He's going to make up some ground again, Kevin.
Yeah, he's really a man on the move on these opening laps. It seems Eversley to the inside. Pampelli goes with him. Look at the Acuras down on the inside of the track. Cooper trying to protect. Here comes Thompson. Back at those guys. Clears them once again.
Oh! Cooper and Parent!
They've hit. The championship leader is off to the outside of this picture right now.
Now Cooper sitting there, see if he's able to get going. Parent's still out of our frame to the right. He's sitting over there. This is huge, Cal.
It is monstrous. I spoke to Alvaro Parent just about 10 minutes before he got in the car today. I said, how do you really perform with the championship league like this? He said, I just go and try and win races. But right now,
he's getting out of the car. Let's go back, take another look at it, Cal, see if we can put together what happened here.
Well, he's over to the outside. He's going to cut across towards the apex, and I think Cooper's already there. And I think he was sort of like out of his side view mirror
I think that's what it
perspective
was.
And didn't realize that Cooper was so far down to the inside.
And I think you're right. Cooper was so far to the inside, and Alvaro was all the way to the outside. He never even saw him.
And remember, if you don't do 50%, Greg, it's 0 points. It's not just last points. This could be a huge swing.
Oh, look at that. You can see he knows this is massive. And we're going to have a little bit of a delay here. We have a Muck Daddy cleanup coming, so while that happens, we're going to step away. But do stay with us. When we go back to green, it should be fierce here at Utah Motorsports campus. Welcome back, everybody. And while we're under caution, I want to remind you that if you're fans of this series like we are, and you want to know what's going on all the time, check out social media. You can do it at the Pirelli World Challenge site at world-challenge.com. And there's great video content, including links for the live webcast. You can also check it out on Facebook or on Twitter. Just look there for the handle at WC Racing. And for all things racing, take a moment and check out Motor Trend On Demand. That includes archives of all the Pirelli World Challenge races. And you can start your free trial at motortrendondemand.com today. And we are ready to go back to racing here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Utah Motorsports campus. And we are going after it. And Heitkotter comes along. We are green. Let's see what happens on this restart. And we know one thing about that Nissan, it's got pretty good legs, as does the Acura, so those two guys should be pretty free and clear by the time they get down into Sunset Bend.
Yeah, those turbo cars should be really strong here. Eversley really closing on into the StopTech brake zone on the back of Heitkotter, but Heitkotter gets a nice clean exit, doing everything. Oh, look, O'Connell there.
That was on long, and that was a touch.
It was, and O'Connell loses a couple of car lengths. He's now under pressure from Dolby in the second of the always evolving Nissans.
He's really acquitted himself quite well this weekend. Doesn't know this track very well, but does know the Nissans, and has been very, I think, just plotting his strategies well, and now taking a look at O'Connell down into the Black Rock hairpin.
Well, he knows of Johnny O'Connell's accomplishments, and he knows he's a great racer, but that doesn't mean he's not going to try and pass him here early on his debut in Pirelli World Challenge. Look at that. I think there's shine there going to the inside of Colin Thompson.
Wow, what a run.
No, excuse me, it's long.
That is long.
That is long. He's starting to make some moves. He's seen Alvaro Parent's car on the trailer. He realizes this could be a big day for him. He needs the bigger points, though.
Oh, and here we go again. Dolby attacking on O'Connell and has to check up as they go through Witchcraft and now up into the attitudes. And look at that, that accurate, just straight line. And that's perfectly legal.
It is. It's all about staying just on the curb. If you've got all four wheels on the other side of the curb, but you could see the rough ride. They didn't really set the car up to deal with that. And I think he actually lost ground. He's not committed to that line just yet. He realizes there's time to be had. But right now, they didn't really set the suspension to deal with that, the compliancy of the suspension over that rough ride.
And it is rough. You just bound across it, and that's an issue. Now, Montecalvo right there, Frankie Montecalvo in 4th overall. We were just talking about it. It's remarkable what he's done this year, but now taking advantage of all of that chaos, Cal, he sits 4th overall. And remember, if you finish on the overall podium, sayonara, GTA, you become a GT driver. So he's knocking on that door here.
He's got to think about it, certainly if he wants to continue to score points there.
Oh, and look at this battle for the lead in GT Cup.
Cooper's in again.
Into the pits.
Big news. Something's wrong there with Michael Cooper. You see him flash across the screen. Udell starting to put the pressure on Yuri.
And you can see Alex Welch doing a nice job sitting in that 3rd spot right now. So McKay has dropped off just a little bit with Corey Fergus. Now Welch watching this battle up in front of him here. For a minute, I thought that Udell might just take a look here and decides not quite there yet.
Well, certainly in qualifying, Alec Udell had a nice margin over Sloan Yuri, and you can see there, I think his car has got a lot more potential, but Yuri's going to place that car exactly in the wrong spot for Alec Udell to take advantage. As we said, major support here. This is Sloan Yuri's hometown, Salt Lake City. Lots of family, friends here, and about 500 guests with his business partners here this weekend.
Udell just sticking the nose out for a minute. Here comes McKay Snow down to the inside, possibly on Alex Welch for 3rd. Did he make it work? And he's through. Think he got that done. So McKay Snow doing a nice job. Now, big development here as we're watching this battle for the lead in GT Cup. The problems for Michael Cooper, Jeff Lepper, gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, it's a long pit lane here down this straightaway at 35 miles an hour. A drive-through penalty for the contact with Michael Cooper and his Cadillac Racing ATS VR. Just got that completed.
Well, thanks very much, Jeff. And of course, we were both kind of wondering why there might have been the penalty, but we've got to look at an onboard, Cal. Maybe that'll give us some answers.
Well, you can see there Michael Cooper defending down on the inside line. I think he misses his braking point just a little bit. Alvaro sweeps in from the outside of the track. There's contact there, so yeah, definitely on Michael Cooper's shoulders when you see that view.
Certainly wasn't intentional, but nonetheless overran the corner, and there was contact, and that's the regulation. So huge developments nonetheless, no question. And running in 2nd, Ryan Eversley right now. He is your Optima Batteries best start winner, as we talked about. Started in 12th at the end of that first lap, was up in 8th, advances 4 spots against the Optima Batteries best start award. Nice job for Ryan Eversley, and we're going to step away for just a moment, but we'll be back.
The Pirelli World Challenge on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Nissan. Innovation that excites. And by Honda Performance Development, Honda's North American racing company.
We are back at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Utah Motorsports Campus, presented by EnergySolutions. And look at the lead. Brian Heitkotter is starting to build here over 2 seconds now. He has put together a margin over Ryan Eversley, who's starting to feel some heat from Adderley Fong in the Bentley. Great run here by Adderley and sitting in that 3rd spot. And then, of course, Montecalvo still impressing mightily here, not getting passed by anybody, including the lights of Patrick Long, who sits right behind him. So he is continuing to lead GTA.
Well, Pat Long's going to do everything he can to wrestle that position away from Frankie Montecalvo, because he's got to score as many points as he can. He realizes that Perrin is probably out for the day. Cooper's in trouble. His team will be keeping him abreast of all of the various scenarios, so this can really tighten up the championship tonight. But we talk about Perrin coming to these tracks for the first time. Same situation for Adderley Fong, so this is a really impressive performance by that young man.
And look at this now. Fong really cool. I think he just tapped the back maybe of Eversley.
Eversley said he's really been struggling with understeer. They just can't get it to work. Spoke to Spencer Pumpelly about the issue. Said, yeah, I've got the same thing. Just in the real tight stuff through 5 and 6. Really, really hard to get the car turned. And if we do that and try and get on power, it's just going to snap away. There you see Eversley tries to use those curbs there to establish a gap, and he did. I think that gained him about 2 car lengths there. Looking at the data, the teams and drivers are saying it's worth about 3 to 4 tenths if you can get it right.
But boy, he hits it so hard and it just starts bounding like crazy, Cal, and you can
gaps,
see.
but then he can't get on the power as early, so it hurts him a little bit on exit.
Okay, Cal, and just a little bit ago, we saw Johnny with all of that smoke and puff. Look what happened here. Obviously, it was just an off. That's just, you can see the rocks and debris coming out of the car. And of course, his son, Kanan, made his pro racing debut here this weekend in the touring car class, or the touring car B class, and his first ever pro race second. What a run.
Amazing. That's got to make Johnny really, really proud, and he had another top 5 today, so great to see another O'Connell on the grid, and maybe he can follow in his dad's footsteps. It'll be tough path to follow.
Yeah.
That'll be Johnny's had so much success with his career.
We've had some reports that in Victory Circle, Johnny was pretty teary, and that's the dad side of Johnny.
That's
There's
cool.
the racer side, but there's the dad side, and it was brought out this weekend. That's absolutely wonderful. Look at this, long attacking on your leader in GTA right now, Monte Calvo, and you're thinking, well, if he doesn't have the pace to get up there and really duke it out with Eversley and Fong, is he going to risk trying to get around Monte Calvo? Yeah, because in the point scoring for GT, the GTA cars take those points. They're placed where they are. So that's a big switch if he can get through on them.
Absolutely. This is the corner that Eversley really struggles in. You can see the Adley Fong is all over him, so Ryan's having to super slow the car, otherwise he's just going to wash out with that front end, I would believe. That's one of the areas that they were struggling with, that understeer.
Well, and that's the corner. It's almost the opposite of Black Rock, which is an increasing radius exit. When you go into it, it's called right hook and knockout, they call it. It snugs up, and that car doesn't like that. It's
That's
simple.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. As you exit Black Rock, as you said, you can start to unwind the wheel, and you got a bit more track to work with. With that one, you got to keep it tucked in.
And as we're watching here, Pat Long, and you're talking about it, Cal, opportunity here for him to make up a big points margin. Did he have enough? Not quite there. And the reason he wants to get through, as you said, that Parent out of this one at this stage. And Jeff Lepper, what's he got? Oh, hang on a sec, Jeff. As we just watched the move here, Long trying to get underneath, couldn't quite get it done there. But now let's get down and hear from Jeff Lepper and Alvaro Parent.
But with our points lead, Alvaro Parent, huge hit in the points for you. What do you think happened there?
Well, it's not what I think. It's pretty obvious what happened. I got taken out, and it's just crazy. Like the same happened in Mid-Ohio, the second race. It looks like these guys have it's out of control. It doesn't make sense to race like this. It's just stupid. So basically, I braked, turned into the corner, and Cooper just flew into me and took me out of the race. So there's not much you can do.
Any chance to get the car fixed to get back out there to try to get 50%?
It doesn't look like it, at the moment. So I think we've got pretty much some severe damage. So it's not looking great.
Well, Alvaro Parent looking to see if he can rebound tomorrow, regain that points lead.
Wow, obviously I can understand him feeling upset about it, not realizing that maybe, Cooper was not trying to make a pass. It was just one of those scenarios here, but you can understand his angst because he's sitting there watching points just disappear.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Pat Long's got to be careful. Remember, he got that drive-through penalty at Mid-Ohio, which he didn't really serve in the correct amount of time, so dodged the bullet, tried to fight it in terms of the stewards. And there's a definitive rule in place in terms of how many laps you have to really serve that penalty. And by tucking his nose inside some of these apexes, if Frankie comes down on him, he's going to turn him. And that could be a similar scenario and a similar outcome in terms of a penalty. So, again, he needs every point, but he can't afford to throw it all away here.
Absolutely, and he's been running up close on the back of that Mercedes. He may have lost a little bit from those tires. And while he's backed off on the attack, as Heitkotter continues to stretch his margin now up over 3 seconds, we're going to step away for a moment here, but we will be back. And welcome back, everybody, here, and we are watching a great battle continuing to unfold in the GT Cup category. And as we're watching this battle unfolding, let's get down to Jeff with Tyler Tadovic from True Speed and Sloan Uri's team.
Well, Tyler, Sloan Uri able to get the lead there on the start. Can he keep Alec Udell behind him?
Boy, we're going to do the best we can. You know, we got 350 guests here this week from Security National Mortgage and Evasys, and so we're going to do the best we can. Alex is a good competitor, but we've got a pretty good car, so we're going to do our best.
And home race for Sloan Urie here at this track.
Oh, that's the home race for Sloan. It's the home race for Security National out of Park City, so yeah, it's hopefully going to be a good weekend for us. We're going to do our best.
All right, thanks very much, Jeff. And of course, this battle is so intense, and now, of course, Udell is able to sneak through, but Urie has closed it up. Cal, let's take a look at the pass.
Here it is, just tucks it down to the inside. A late move, and I said if he keeps leaving that door open, Alec Udell is just going to have to take it, and Sloan there lost a lot of ground by fighting on the exit.
And as soon as Urie swung to the right going into Blackhawk, that's when Alec just straightened the wheel, went straight up inside him, and made it work. So just fantastic.
Look at this, he's not going away.
Yeah, no, it is a fierce, fierce battle here, and Udell was just relentless on it, but Sloan Urie has not gone quietly, that's for sure. You know what? He's just tucked right up behind Alec here at this stage, and he might be going to school just a little bit. You know, for all the laps and knowledge he has at this track, clearly that Global Motorsports Group team has a great setup on the car, and I think Sloan might be watching and learning here.
Yeah, you see Alec there really kind of square off the corner, takes a much wider turn-in point. And down in turn one is where I saw a major difference. He kind of angles it in a little bit sooner than Sloan. So the opposite case when you get to turn one into our stop, take, brake zone. But these guys are literally driving the wheels off this GT Cup car.
Oh boy, Sloan
to the inside, floats the speed through here. Great rhythm through this section of the circuit, Greg.
You've talked about it before. You really like this 1-2-3 complex, don't you?
It is. It's really cool, and then it all sets up nicely. When you come through here, you've got to get good speed, rolling speed through the middle. Then it's going to be a flat-out run down to the Black Rock hairpin, and that's where Sloan kind of opened the door. He kept kind of hanging out wide to try and get a nice late cut on the corner. See Alec there just kind of protecting a little bit to the middle of the road. Can't be too reactive. That will get the steward's attention if you get too reactive and don't give the guy behind a lane. But look at that. Sloan's now tucked it off there. He's able to make the undercut, and he's getting good power down, so his car is working really well.
Well, the thing is, if you do that and you pinch the guy you're trying to pass and get him stuck to the inside there, they're slow coming out and into witchcraft. Sometimes you can make something happen, but looked like Alec Udell covered that nicely, and they're making another run up into the attitudes, and that's this corner right here. This is the first attitude, and then you complete the complex. But right now, Brian Heitkotter, he's just easing away, Cal. That margin now is up to 3.7 seconds, but Adderley Fong still attacking on Eversley. We saw him again show the nose, and these two, this is a great battle.
It's a great battle. Let's not forget that Ryan Eversley has had so many strong runs of late. He's leapfrogged all the way up to 5th place in the points. The next man on his target, on his range, is Johnny O'Connell, who's just about 60 points ahead. So he keeps getting these podium finishes and the big points. Before we know it, he'll be up into the 4th position in the championship. And then the next man is Cooper. He's having a bad day.
Well, look at Eversley over those curbs, and he's carrying our iBox suspension cam. Whew. Boy, if there's ever a place on this track it's going to get tested, it's those curbs.
Unbelievable. He's getting more comfortable. He's finding the line. They really are on uncharted territory coming into this race and using that massive curb there, and he was really struggling with it. He had too much steering input coming up over the top. It was unsettling the car. He's got more of a straight line over there now, Greg, and it's more settled, and it's been very efficient coming off, as well as the immediate gain by shortcutting over the curb.
Boy, and Adderley Fong must be just absolutely coming unglued inside the cockpit going, I can't do that.
Can't do that with a Bentley.
Well, yeah, that's just not right with a Bentley. That might spill the tea. And then this great battle, Monte Calvo says, what a run he's putting on here. 4th overall and leading by a bunch in GTA at this stage.
And look at that. Pat Long is sandwiched by 2 of the young stars in our championship, Frankie Montecalvo, Austin Cindric right there in that bright blue and black. K-Pax McLaren coming off that brilliant victory, brilliant pole position, an excellent podium run at Mid-Ohio. Followed that up, he's a busy boy, won a K&N race the following stock car race. We understand he's going to be doing 3 truck races this year, so they're getting the boy a lot of mileage, and it's showing in terms of his performance.
Yeah, I think, in the Olympics, they'd be calling him an all-rounder. He really is just doing everything he can, driving everything he can, and just the more seat time you get, doesn't matter.
Look at this.
Tap there.
There is a little tap. It wasn't initially. It was kind of a bump in the road, but then Adderley did just touch him, I think. There's a little scuff, a little argy-bargy, but Ryan Eversley is a great racer. He's not going to fall to this pressure.
And here we go up to the attitudes once again, and watch the cut here. Does he do the straight line again? Ooh, he ran wide that time.
He's really wide. He pushed the entry there. Fong's going to get a run on him despite the shortcut. Look at this.
Speaking of runs, Yuri alongside Alec Udell. These two young aces are on it. What a battle we're seeing here. Fantastic stuff. And Yuri's got the position, Cal. Just a matter of, can Alec do anything around the outside? He's thinking about it. He's going to try and stay put. Ooh, this is close. And there, he had to give way.
He did. Just beautiful driving. Good, clean, hard driving. Stayed in a straight line. No one was kind of taking any road away from one another. And then Sloan just got the car position, didn't take it in too deep. Alec hung tough on his flank, but just ran out of road.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I tell you, look at this now. Here comes Fong, possibly on Eversley, and long on. Oh boy,
Montecalvo's all happening.
Eversley able to get back in front. The one thing that Acura has is some motor, but Long finally able to get through. And look how close that's drawn him, too, Cal, to this battle.
Yeah, well, I think Eversley's backing up a little bit. Hasn't been a clean lap for him. We saw him got really wide on the approach to the attitudes, and he's losing lap time, losing gap to the leader. Highcutter very settled up front. The gap right now just under 7 seconds.
We're going to step away very quickly, but we will be right back, we promise, to this fascinating race.
The Pirelli World Challenge on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by McLaren GT, manufacturers of championship-winning GT cars. By Replay XD, life's in HD, replay it. And by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. The Pirelli World Challenge on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by BRM. And by Audi, truth in engineering. Visit AudiUSA.com or schedule a test drive today.
Welcome back, everybody. Your leader, Brian Highcutter, now working through some of the GT Cup traffic, already expanding that lead significantly, and big battle unfolding behind him between Adderley Fong, Ryan Eversley, Pat Long, and now Fong is in second, but still 5.5 seconds back. And look at the two McLaren K-Pax teammates, Colin Thompson down inside of Cindric into one.
Wow, sensational stuff. The two youngsters going hard at it, good clean racing. Thompson's been on fire here this weekend in terms of his raw pace. Now he's just got to execute here, and I think he could have another couple of positions before the end of this race.
That was a nice pass, but we just mentioned the fact that while we were in break, Adderley Fong has now picked up that second spot, and Ryan Eversley just was not able to make it stick. So let's go back and take a look at that big pass here, Cal, that Adderley Fong had worked on and set up for a while.
He really had. He finally gets to the inside here on the approach to the attitudes. Eversley tries to hang tough. You see Pat Long there thinking about getting to the inside. Fong clears him. And then Eversley's really struggling there, trying to get the car turned, and Long almost takes advantage. Right there, you can see there, Eversley really wide, struggling for grip. Pat Long tries to take advantage, and Eversley has to use all of that curb to maintain, at that point, the third position. But since then, Pat Long has now moved up to the third position. Why is that significant? Well, he came into this round in the championship in second place, 102 points behind Parent, including Parent's pole bonus points. And if he finishes third, that's 90. This lead in the championship for Brent could be down to just 12 points tonight.
And Pat's pass around Eversley for that was a beauty. Watch this move, same spot almost.
Well, he tried to go the long way around, and Eversley was very respectful, gave him some room, but Long says, well, don't be too respectful, I'm going to take advantage. Eversley there trying to get over the right side to set up for this problem corner, and Long took advantage.
Yep, just shot through, makes the pass, and as you said, that's mega. It's Highcutter, Fong, and Long. 1, 2, 3 right now, Eversley for us, and now Colin Thompson in the 5th spot.
2 minutes on the board. Thompson to the inside of Eversley and clears him.
Boy, he just rifled down to the inside, didn't he? That was
Eversley comes back. He doesn't give up easy.
He does not. He knows he's got a little bit better straight line. He knows that McLaren's way better in the corner with the downforce, and he doesn't feel too bad knowing that Acura handles real well in the straights and taking advantage of that.
Welch there didn't see him. Stacks Eversley up. Eversley to the inside. Now Alex Welch sees him. Thompson goes with him. There's Cindric. He's got stymied completely. Montecalvo right there. And here comes Pumpelly as well. Pumpelly's now in the mix. Great drive from the man who had his debut with the team at Mid-Ohio. Sticks it down the inside of Montecalvo. Great move by Spencer.
That's for 7th and gets through. Beautiful job, and Fogarty right behind them. But Fogarty's got to get around Fergus in the GT Cup car. Not able to do anything with it at this point. We are expecting white flag this time by, Cal.
Great recovery for John Fogarty at a really strong top 5 qualifying position. Got involved in that initial melee. Found himself, I think it was down in 14th position, Greg, and suddenly he's back up into the 9th position.
And once again, through witchcraft, and Pompelli having another very, very solid drive. There comes the 33 in the hands of Craig Dolby here. And here is your GT Cup battle, and you can see Udell has just backed off a little bit. Exactly what you said, Cal. He cannot afford to run too close and get that engine to overheat.
Well, another round tomorrow.
Points. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the points for today and tomorrow. You can't afford to damage. I'm not sure if they hold a spare in the trailer to switch out overnight, but he's got to make sure that he's got a strong engine to get through the race tomorrow.
And here comes Heitkotter onto the front straight, expecting the white flag. There it flies. So Brian Heitkotter, what a day it could be for the 05. And Brian Heitkotter here, he had a second at the opening round at COTA, but this might be win number 1 on the season. What a story.
That is a great story. He's just been sensational in terms of his speed and his racecraft. And this is really a testimony to what these gamers can do when you give them the opportunity. Brian Heitkotter has grabbed it with both hands from the Nissan GT Academy program.
Absolutely, the gold ring here, pretty spectacular stuff. And right behind him, you see that yellow and black Porsche. That is the Calvert Dynamics Curd Records Discount Tire Circle Porsche entry of Michael Lewis. Fast lap is hanging in there, Cal. He could be starting up front.
Yeah, and he had really strong green flag run here today in the Sprint X Championship, including a victory. So if he hadn't had that problem down in turn 1, he could have been looking at a podium finish here today. Very, very strong car, and that's a great news for the Calvert Dynamics group, having lost their car with Preston Calvert yesterday. And Andrew Davis at the wheel of that machine.
That's a tough go. By the way, Frankie Montecalvo comfortably has fast lap right now in GTA, and Alec Udell has fast lap in GT Cup by a matter of a few thousandths of a second. That's how close those two guys have been going here.
Let the battle resume tomorrow.
Oh boy, here we go. Heitkotter into clubhouse. 2 corners to go for this amazing story in many ways. The gamer that has come, grabbed that brass ring when it was offered to him, and has just been exceptional. 1 more corner, and Brian Heitkotter feeding the throttle out of the final turn onto the front straight, and Nissan and Brian Heitkotter are going to win at Utah Motorsports Campus. Rick Kulak and that team absolutely overjoyed. What an absolutely great day for Heitkotter. And you can see, I don't know, I think Yuri and at the line, how close. Eversley by
8,000ths of a second.
And Montecalvo just went through, takes the win in GTA. He'll be delighted with that, having had such speed throughout the year, but not getting that many great results. Yuri and Udell, they got to finish this lap because they were still in front of Heitkotter when he came through and got that white flag. So this battle's still on, but right now, unless Yuri makes a mistake, knowing the problem that Udell's dealing with, this is going to be, I think, Yuri's day. It's not like he didn't earn it, man. He is good. It'll be his 5th win on the season.
Oh, it's going to be a big celebration tonight. Not too big because there's another race tomorrow, but certainly his fans, his friends, and partners will be exploding with joy because it was a great battle. Just a great battle. A great race, great performance by Sloan today.
On to the front straight. Salt Lake City's Sloan Uri is going to come across and get his 5th win on the season. No better place to do it than at home. But there is the man of the moment, Brian Heitkotter. We're going to pause for just a moment. When we come back, we will hear from some of our winners. We are back here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Utah Motorsports Campus, presented by EnergySolutions. And I'll tell you, absolutely fascinating day of racing. Great on some cases, not so great for others. But one of the guys it was great for, certainly, was our winner. Let's get down to Jeff Lepper with Brian Heitkotter.
It's pretty amazing. You know, 5 years ago, I was dreaming of racing, and thanks to Nissan GT Academy, I'm racing at a very high level now, and I couldn't be doing it without them. So massive thank you to Nissan and PlayStation. It's amazing to be here. The Motorsport guys have just been working so hard for the past 1.5 years. It's really nice to reward them with a win after all this time.
All right, and again, he acknowledged it was a team sport, but I'll tell you what, it was a great drive by Brian today. Let's take a look at our Cadillac ATSV move of the race. It was Hike Cutters to the lead, had to be.
It was. I mean, he pushed the envelope there, but he made it stick around the outside. It was tight, but the move to the front, he was never headed again.
Absolutely. Now let's check in with our winner in GTA. Jeff Lepper's hustled down and found Frankie Montecalvo. What a day for him.
Yeah, Frankie Montecalvo, you take the Road America round off. That really, I think that helped you.
Yeah, I mean, we took back and really got the car running well. We've been struggling the entire year to really get it settled to back where it was last year. But I think our pace showed at the end of Road America and this race as well. I think it was a tire game out there. We stayed out of trouble. We were up the front for a long time, but at the end, I just had nothing left in the tires to keep pushing and stay up front.
All right, Jeff, and maybe the stories just keep getting better, I think. Salt Lake City's Sloan Urie comes home. It comes home with a victory, Jeff.
Well, Greg, you said it right. Nothing like home field advantage, Sloan Urie.
Yeah, I mean, man, it's about time I took advantage of it because it was my first major win here at home, and I mean, really crowd up there, had a whole cheering section, so I'm just super proud of the team, True Speed, for giving me a great car to be able to win. And you know, we worked really hard all weekend, tried a bunch of different things that we haven't this year, and yeah, I mean, can't get any better than this.
Well, congratulations to Sloan and that True Speed team. Now, Cal, let's turn our attention to the Kia turning point, and it had to be the Prenti Cooper thing and the implications for the championship.
Well, it's just massive. A bad day for Michael Cooper, but even worse for our championship leader, Alvaro Perrin. I don't think he saw Michael down to the inside. Cooper got a penalty called on him for that. Alvaro went across to the apex contact. His day was done.
And conversely, Cal, our Motor Trend On Demand.com Clean Pass of the Race Award, Pat Long recognizing opportunity. He laid a beauty on Ryan Eversley.
He did. It took 2 or 3 corners to put. He took the long way around and made it stick. A great move. Clean racing there by both drivers.
But some solace for Ryan Eversley, not just the Optima Battery Start Award, but our VP Racing Fuels Hard Charger Award, up 8 spots overall during the course of that race. Let's take a look at our Motul Fast Lap Award winners, and again, that means they'll be the people starting on pole in the classes. Motul Fast Lap in GT, Michael Lewis, after that early incident, coming back and putting in a scorcher. In GTA, Frankie Montecalvo comfortably setting fast lap. And in GT Cup, by a matter of a few thousandths, Alec Udell will start on pole for the next round of the championship. And when we come back, we will have our call from that very race. So stay with us.
The Pirelli World Challenge on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Eibach, the world leader in high-performance suspension. By Bentley Motors. And by AFE Power. Advanced engineering. Proven performance. The Pirelli World Challenge on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by VP Racing Fuels. Our passion is your performance. And by Kia Optima. Not your average midsize sedan.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Utah Motorsports Campus, presented by EnergySolutions. Once again, Greg Creamer along with Calvin Fish, Jeff Lepper down in pit lane. And after a very interesting race yesterday, we're looking forward to the next one coming up. Let's get right to our Motul Pole Awards. Interesting story after the problems on the opening lap. Michael Lewis dug deep in that Porsche, turned a 1 minute 49.525, puts it on pole for this race with the fastest race lap. And we just had the opportunity to hear from him.
Not the best turn one for yesterday's race, but we rebounded with a nice qualifying lap for this race 2 coming up. And that's what was our goal. I didn't want to affect the race of the other competitors, the Cup field or the GT field, so just kind of let them be and just try to set a lap. And it's thanks to these Calvert Dynamics guys with Discount Tire and Circle Porsche of Long Beach and Curb Records on the car. Thanks to them for really putting this deal together. It's been a up and down weekend. We'll see if we can finish it off here in race 2.
Well, it was a great response by that team for sure, but a great lap by Michael. Now, Motul GTA Pole Award, that goes to Frank Montecalvo. What a weekend he is having, a 1 minute 50.248. That is a new race lap record for GTA. And in GT Cup, even though he finished second by a couple of thousandths of a second, Alec Udell gets the Motul GT Cup Pole Award with a 1 minute 54.536 second lap. Great job by him as well. And with that, let's get quickly back down to Jeff Lepper for an update on what's unfolded from yesterday's race to today.
Michael Cooper had some damage to his Cadillac. They had to change the side exhaust there and massage the bodywork, but it was a huge repair for the K-Pax McLaren 650S of Vero Parent. They replaced every component on that left rear suspension there. No internal damage to the car, and that's a good thing. He's coming from the back of the field today. And how about your GT Cup winner, Sloan Uri, in front of the home crowd? 350 guests here yesterday when he got his 5th win of the season. Now 500 guests here this weekend looking for the same result.
Well, good to know they'll both be able to get out. And now, speaking of getting out, it's time to get racy. The field making its way into the final couple of corners here as we are ready to go racing, and the pace car has made its escape. Michael Lewis will lead this field to the green, Cal.
And it's going to be an interesting battle between he and Brian Hidecarter. Hidecarter was so quick from the green flag yesterday, made that outside move. I'm sure he's going to try and cut and paste that for today's.
I would think he would absolutely make it work from the outside. Lewis now into the VP Racing Field's acceleration zone, and he can start to roll into that throttle here. Hidecarter doing a nice job staying with him. Watch for that green flag to fly, and you'll know. And there's Thompson. He just times things so well. And Hidecarter, he's get the nose ahead. He's already cleared him, Cal, in the Bentley to the inside.
Yeah, Adley Fong, who had a brilliant performance here yesterday, is a man on the move early. Michael Lewis down on the inside. There's not a lot of grip there. Hidecarter runs it out wide. He's going to cut across. He grabs the lead easily.
And look at Eversley once again from 6th. Fighting for 4th, he might
but
have
he's wide.
it.
Long gets in front of him. Long takes advantage there. In the back of the pack, look for that bright yellow McLaren. Our championship leader, Alvaro Parent, trying to make some moves early.
As is Cooper in that black Cadillac, but he's actually lost a couple of spots here. Tucked right in behind Fogarty in that Gainsco McLaren.
Look at the gap that Brian Hidecarter has established early. Here comes Pat Long down to the inside of Adley Fong. Fong defends nicely, side by side through the hairpin.
Pat wanted to squeeze the trigger, try and come up the inside, but not able to get it done here. And Fogarty looking very racy on Eversley.
Well, he had a great battle yesterday with Eversley's teammate, Spencer Pumpelly. Eventually got a little bit of a bumper run in the final corner of the final lap to get position.
Unfortunately, Pumpelly in the pits on the parade lap. He never made it out of the pits. Probably something electrical, it tends to be these days, but Hidecarter is gone right now. And look at Eversley able to use the curbs a little bit. Not only did that help him gap the car right behind him in terms of Fogarty, but allowed him to get right up onto the back of the
It's
line.
a huge advantage. If you got your suspension working compliant enough to run over that curb there, you gain about 2 to 3 car lengths. They explored it yesterday. They probably worked on the suspension setup a little bit to make it a little bit easier for Ryan Eversley, but it's definitely an advantage if you can do it.
Boy, and Cooper, who started up in that 4th spot, he is struggling right now to stay in the top 10. Colin Thompson in that black and orange McLaren really hounding him at this point. But as we complete the first lap, Brian Hidecarter on cold Pirelli tires has put together a scorcher by 1.8 seconds, Cal.
Unbelievable. They've got that car set up that the tires, the Pirelli P0s are coming to life immediately, and Brian Hidecarter is getting the job done. Pat Long thinks about an inside move on Adley Fong, but Fong is rolling a lot of speed through that turn 1 apex area as he closes in on Michael Lewis.
And we just also saw Johnny O'Connell try a move on Kyle Marcelli in the Audi, and Marcelli covered it. But here we go, watching Hidecarter lead overall. We're going to go back and take a look at Frankie Montecalvo. Remember, he started in 7th, but Cal, he kind of got caught up in some of that start mess as well, and has dropped back to 12th, and he's under attack by Parent.
Parent's trying to make an inside move. We just saw Dolby go underneath Johnny O'Connell. They were in a battle here yesterday as well.
And this is crucial for Parent to be able to do this. He gets underneath Montecalvo. Remember, GT points for the GT class, it includes finishers in GTA, Cal.
Montecalvo is getting shuffled back here, and he's going to be right back with those other GTA runners. Look at that. Fuentes is right with him right now, as is Shine.
Yeah, those two guys, Fuentes and Shine, must be going, wow, we've been given some sort of a gift here. And Montecalvo, not sure whether there's something off on that car or whether it's just that it's taking tires too long to come in.
Well, if you've been forced wide through a couple of corners, you can suddenly get that dust and marbles on the tires. Maybe he's just got to get those cleaned off before he can get back into rhythm.
Yeah, as we said earlier, we've had our pace car drivers said that they're getting marbles on the pace car, which tells you just how diabolical it is for these high-speed supercars to be dealing with that mess. And just taking a look here, watching, there's Montecalvo. He's got one car, Austin Cindric, between his two competitors in GTA.
Parent is up to the 13th position from 17th on the grid. So he's making some moves, but he's just got to be patient. Hope for a reset, maybe a possible caution, and then go for some bigger points.
All right, as we watch Heitkotter continuing to build that lead, we also want to go back and take a look at what unfolded in GT Cup. And look at this, McKay Snow currently is in the lead. What a great story. Started this race from the 3rd position. Let's go back and take a look at the replay of the start, Cal.
Here we go, this long front straightaway, about 3/4 of a mile. McKay immediately gets to the inside of Sloan Urie. Nice start for Alec Udell, but McKay Snow certainly made his intentions known yesterday with his fast lap of the race, putting him 3rd on the grid, and he's taking it to the front.
And Fergus able to slot through and make it happen here, but McKay having the lead at this stage. And for Udell, this is kind of deja vu all over again, a Utah boy sneaking in front on the start.
That's right, he says, I've taken care of Sloan, now I've got another challenge right in front of me.
And you're going to see this orange and silver Audi. That's the DeVilbiss Racing Audi of Kyle Marcelli. He is our Optima Batteries Best Start Award winner, moving up 5 spots overall on the opening lap. So congratulations to Kyle. So as we watch the field settle in just a little bit, we're going to dip away for a moment, but we will be right back with more from Utah Motorsports Campus. It's the attitudes, and right now the only guy with a good attitude coming through it, this section of track called Bad Attitude, is Brian Heitkotter, although I think a grin is starting to appear on Adderley Fong's face as he is continuing to reel Heitkotter in, Cal.
Absolute Racing are on form here this weekend, and remember, we talked about Alvaro Parent going to these circuits for the very first time. Same deal for Adderley Fong in most cases, so to come here on a brand new circuit and perform so well, great 2nd place run yesterday, and now chasing after the leader today.
And I think he's done chasing. I think he's done caught him at this stage. He is right there, and Long not exactly too far behind in the queue right now.
Let's see, 1.2 seconds was the gap last time across the line. There goes Heitkotter, 0.9. It's under a second right now, and if he gets a little bit closer, also get the draft effect down this front straightaway. That will cut into that lead even further.
Then Long there in the white and red Porsche, then the black and yellow Porsche, pole sitter Lewis, then Eversley in the Acura, then Fogarty in the red McLaren.
Good little battle here. Craig Dolby, the Brit, who's filling in for J.D. Davison this weekend, starting to put the pressure on Colin Thompson.
And in the GT Cup category, it's McKay Snow, and that UIS, that's Universal Industrial Sales entry here, who's doing a nice job, was on the podium yesterday in his debut in Pirelli World Challenge. And right now he and Udell are easing away a little bit from Sloan Urie. And Udell said, you know, what we have to do here, he said, we've got a good car underneath this. He said, I got a little too close. 1, we overheated. 2, we overheated the front tires when we lost some of the aero. He said, I've just got to be gentle and really stay with him and find my shot.
Well, he will certainly have learned a lot here yesterday with the battle that he had with Sloan Urie. And those two are trading fast laps right now in terms of McKay Snow and Alec Udell, but it's not by much because you can see the gap isn't changing by a whole bunch. But just each lap, one seems to go a 10th quicker than the other.
And there's Monte Calvo. That is your GTA leader in that dime racing Mercedes. And as you can see now, as we look back watching him through, he's opened up a little bit of a margin again now, and I think you may have been spot on, Cal. He may have got offline somewhere, got some junk on those tires, and now that they've cleaned up, he's starting to look much racier.
Well, you want to be racy, but he can't force the issue with guys he's really not in competition with, so he got beat up a little bit in terms of, not literally, but, you know, in terms of track position, got forced wide, and you can see him fading a little bit. Right now he's established himself, got a good rhythm going, but look at this. Fong is ever closer.
Yeah, it was 0.9 last time by, 0.7, so 2-3 tenths a lap. He's reeling Heitkotter in.
Just got to stay patient. I would believe that the Bentley on the long green flag run, despite what Heitkotter was able to do here yesterday, should be a little bit stronger. But you never know. Track conditions are different. Tire pressure setup that the team started the race with could be slightly different. Sometimes there's a bit of a guesstimate. You gauge off what you've done here all weekend, the race conditions yesterday, but even so, the track can throw you a bit of a curveball.
You know, we've talked on and off throughout the season, Cal, about that Nissan, the way it's built with the engine way forward, sits higher up in the chassis. It's just got a higher CG. Long duration corners aren't its friend. Well, there aren't a lot of those here. You get through them relatively quickly, but it does make a lot of speed in a straight line, and that really plays into it here.
It really does, and they have a newer chassis available. Craig Dolby's, in fact, done a lot of work with it. The guy's running in the second of the Always Evolving Racing entries this weekend. He said, yeah, the old car is a bit compromised in terms of the braking and stuff like that, but not a ton different. So he said, it's taken me a bit of a while to adjust, but he's done a great job this weekend in subbing for J.D. Davison.
Yeah, he really has, coming over another guy with a track he's never seen before and the like. And look at Eversley using that curve.
Yeah, that frustrates John Fogarty. I spoke to him this morning. He said, I just don't like it. He said, it's one thing if everyone can do it, or if it was me. But he said, when I watched someone just shortcut the circuit, basically, but they just didn't feel they could police it accurately and consistently enough, so they've said any curb is good, but that is a huge one in terms of that is literally shortcutting the circuit, and that's why they try and have these track limits in place wherever we run. But you come here, a bit like when we run at Circuit of the Americas, there's huge gains to be had at that circuit as well with the runoff areas.
And you see there, we were talking about Craig Dolby right there doing a nice job in that Air Now, always evolving, and Replay XD Nissan with that Nisbo support on it. And he has, as you said, done a lot of work with this. He's raced with the team in Blancpain in Europe, and they're really kind of evaluating him for an opportunity when SprintX comes into this level of the championship potentially next year as one of their drivers. So that's good news for Craig Dolby and that team. The battle starting to heat up again at the front here between Heitkotter and Fong. Pat Long not too far adrift, so we're going to take a quick break and come back, be able to bring it all to you here at Utah Motorsports Campus.
The Pirelli World Challenge on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Ferrari, by the Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving, official driving school of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships, and by Mercedes-Benz AMG.
Through the Tooele turn comes Brian Heitkotter and Adderley Fong. Things have settled just a little bit, Cal, here, although Adderley has certainly not drifted back here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Utah Motorsports Campus, presented by EnergySolutions. And you can see a couple of different lines there through windup, setting up for release here.
Yeah, he was 7/10 behind last time across the stripe. He's definitely narrowed that gap. And he's going to be picking up the draft big time here down this front straightaway. Be interesting to see how the two power plants compare. Across the line is under half a second, 0.48. Pat Long just over a second behind these two.
The interesting thing is here, you can see even with the draft, that Nissan able to just maybe get another car length in terms of just raw speed. And so either you're going to have Fong a lot closer, I would think, Cal, to try and move into turn one, which is called Sunset Bend here, or he's going to have to do it somewhere else on the track.
Well, through that sector one, which is a very short sector down the front straightaway, even though Fong was in his draft, Heitkotter still gapped him by about 1/10 of a second, so certainly the Nissan's power or aero setup is having an advantage there.
Thin air here, obviously, so the aero is affected by it, and you've got that compromise, don't you? You've got, you know, a number of corners which are pretty twisty bits, but you've got that long straight. In thin air, how much do you trim a car out?
Well, you got to be careful because it's all about the long green flag run. It's one thing to trim it out and have fast lap pace at the beginning, but the more you trim it out, the less you're pushing the car down to the ground, and that makes the tires start to slide. If you got good balance, you might get away with it, but it's a risky move if you get too slick with that.
Well, it's interesting here as Yuri comes up and starts working Udell over a little bit. McKay stretching that margin. Yuri looks to the inside. Wasn't close enough at this stage, but now both of them shallow up their entry into one. Going to slow them up through the corner. McKay's lead's going to even get bigger.
Yeah, this is perfect for McKay right now. These two are going to have the battle that they probably had yesterday. And if he can keep hitting his marks and knocking down the lines like he's doing right now, he could potentially be able to stretch. I noticed maybe a little bit of understeer in his car, but that's not a bad thing. Means he's going to keep those rear driving tires underneath him.
Well, let's check in with Jeff. What are you hearing on McKay's ride?
Talked with John Wright at Wright Motorsports and said he's as cool as a cucumber, just like his old man. Business as usual for McKay Snow here at Utah Motorsports Campus.
Oh, absolutely no issues, and he's driving like that car is pretty well clicking right now, Cal.
Yeah, it really is. It's really hooked up, and this is probably one of the biggest surprises of the weekend, that anyone can come into this GT Cup field and perform like this and lead Alec Udell and Sloan Yuri. We've seen guys like Corey Fergus entering this championship for the first time and keep plugging away, but he hasn't been able to match the pace of these two guys. And for McKay to come in and do it on his first weekend is incredible.
Really is. Very, very impressive. Of course, that Wright Motorsports team has tons of experience in GT Cup Porsches. They come here and race, and they don't just race in the Pirelli World Challenge GT Cup category. There's the Pirelli Trophy USA series. That races very similar cars. So that Wright Motorsports team has its head wrapped around Porsches here.
They're a great group, great engineering squad there. I mean, they're a little bit frustrated that they seem to lose their way a little bit with Pat Long there for a couple of event weekends, but they seem to be back on form this weekend. Pat Long sitting in the third position, just under 2 seconds behind the leaders right now.
Speaking of on form, Frankie Montecalvo, we just had a shot there, and he is coming in through the turn called Knockout here, heading into Witchcraft. He's been able to stretch that margin now over Fuentes up to about 5.5 seconds at this stage, running a 151.4 last time, Cal. Fuentes a 151.9.
Kind of surprised that Alvaro Perent's progress has kind of stalled out a little bit. He's sixth in the 12th spot. He's just under a second behind Johnny O'Connell, but doesn't seem to have anything for him. So they ran the warm-up this morning and said everything felt okay. But again, when you got clean air up front, you can lay down your lap times. Alvaro seems to be struggling.
Boy, and look at Fong diamond that last corner, going in high, trying to use that banking a little bit to help him launch out. But I think maybe he went to throttle a bit too soon, and it just didn't get the run he wanted, and Heitkotter, as a result, able to stretch that margin again. But Long looks a bit closer. Yeah, he's now down to within 1.5 seconds of Heitkotter. That means he's only a second off right now of Fong.
Long was a couple of tenths quicker than our leader, Brian Heitkotter, that last lap by. So looks like Wright Motorsports have got a good green flag, long run car underneath Pat today.
So we've got the two leaders in pretty close concert, but is Pat Long going to make it a three-way battle for the lead? We'll find out when we come back to Utah. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, and big developments in GT Cup. Oh, look at this run by Udell down to the inside.
Wow, what an exit speed. We said it'd have to surprise him. He did it right there. He's compromised on exit speed. Here comes Sloan Urie. McKay goes to the inside. 3 wide coming in.
Wow, how close this is, and McKay just that quick. Once he got sort of off his rhythm in the Tuella turn, slips back to third. But Cal, it looked like you watched Udell. He didn't get anywhere near the exit curve coming out of that last attitude. He just had a tremendous run of speed, didn't he?
He really did. The car just rode the bumps perfectly. He's able to get the hammer down and surprise McKay Snow and grab the lead.
What a phenomenal move, and Urie taking advantage and pouncing as well up into second spot. Let's go back and take another look at that, and it just the run out of the attitudes that Udell had. Look at that.
Just incredible. All credit to McKay Snow. He didn't try and defend it, just went on the attack at that point forward.
I almost wonder if McKay coming out of there, if he got that inside curb on the left-hander at the bottom a little hard, and it caused the car to skate a little bit, but boy, if Alec read it that quick, that's impressive.
Well, it had to be a combination. I think it had to be a little bobble by McKay and a perfect execution and exit for Alec Udell to see that big a difference in speed.
So Udell leads over Urie, the two championship protagonists, 1-2 as they run in the points right now. And McKay going, all right, what do I have to do?
Just regroup, basically, just reset, just focus forward. See the car there starting to slide a little bit, so he's probably pushing a little bit harder than he was before. Or maybe his car that was so sweet at the start of this race is starting to feed just a little bit.
And there is the rest of that GT Cup field, and they are about to be gobbled up by your race leaders. Brian Heitkotter with Adderley Fong, with Patrick Long, all in close concert. And Michael Lewis right there as well as they sweep through Witchcraft up into the attitudes. Traffic, Cal, this could get interesting.
Yes, it's certainly going to be a factor here, how they catch the traffic, if one guy's able to get through or whether it closes up the gaps between the top four right now.
Watch it here, Heitkotter. Here we go, the run out of Tuella now into Clubhouse, flashing those lights. He wants to get down on the inside of Welch, and he couldn't do it, and this might be the opportunity for Fong.
Welch is wide, Welch is wide. Fong now gets hampered a little bit.
Trapped around the outside. Does he clear him as they come down into release? He does, but that's tight into the entry of release. Might be a little slow on the exit.
Yeah, the benefactor there should be Pat Long overall, because both Heitkotter and Fong definitely lost a little bit of ground. Pat Long's now going to use Welch's car as a bit of a pick and bit of a draft down this front straightaway.
Well, the thing is those GT Cup cars with not much aero and narrow chassis on it, pretty good power, you can get a pretty good tow, can't you?
You really can, but then they don't have the downforce for the brake zone, so you should easily be able to take advantage once you get to that point. Heitkotter really late on the brakes there in terms of clearing that traffic before a stop-take brake zone in turn one.
And speaking of those Porsches, look at this, boy. Sloan sensing opportunity. Once he followed through with Udell, now he's attacking on Alec Udell, heading into turn number 6.
Well, Alec Udell is where he needs to be based on the problems he had yesterday in terms of the cooling issues, running the front tires off the car a little bit with the aero wash that you're going to get as well. So he's in control, but he's got a problem. Sloan Urie wants a double win.
And the issue, the thought is that if the issues were presented yesterday by Udell running close to Urie, well, you'd think Urie might be in a position to suffer those same issues running too close to Udell for too long. Anyway.
Oh, great exit speed there by Sloan Urie. His car bucks around a little bit more over that curbing than does Alec Udell's car, but even so, he's able to keep the power on.
Ooh,
now he looks to the inside. No. That's a tough one because the entry speed is so high and it's just going to go awfully wrong and lose a lot of momentum if you don't complete the pass.
Through wind up, and looks like Sloan is trying to do that, or certainly thinking about it here. Oh, look how close he is. Actually, he may have had to check up just a little bit.
Yeah, he lost a little bit as the end result because he kind of went to go. Alec didn't go, and he had to check up, as you saw, Greg.
And that opens that margin up. You can see Alec able to build a little bit of a margin down the straight. How deep is this draft going to be? Is Sloan going to be able to do anything with it? He's not quite close enough. They both move left and set up for the turn to begin another lap here at Utah Motorsports Campus. And what a delightfully challenging circuit it is. We're going to be back with more in just a minute.
The Pirelli World Challenge on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Lincoln Tech, America's Technical Institute. By TireRack.com, revolutionizing tire buying since 1979. And by Motor Trend On Demand. Visit MotorTrendOnDemand.com. Start your free trial today.
Welcome back. Ryan Hightower continues to hold the lead here, working through the attitudes. And Hightower has been able to open that margin up to about 2 seconds again over Adderley Fong. But a big development in GT Cup. Sloan Urie off the track, having a problem. And Jeff has found the True Speed team. What's up?
Oh man, yeah, it looks like we lost fuel pressure is what happened. So we definitely have enough fuel in the car, but it's acting as if it ran out. You know, we've got all the guys here from Metro National Title, from Security National Mortgage, and Evasys here supporting us. Really disappointing. We had a good run going there, and it just appears that we've lost a fuel pump or lost fuel pressure. Trying to cycle it right now to see if we can get back going, but pretty disappointing, I'm not going to lie.
And he was fighting for it again today, Cal, and to have this happen, and especially at his home track after a win yesterday, that's gutting.
Yeah, it really is. It's a shame, but it's a deep field here as well. He's going to drop to 5th right now in class, so that'll give Alec Udell an even deeper lead here tonight. Monte Calvo trying to struggle through here. He's dropped to 3rd position in class after his problems.
But apparently he has decided there's no way he can continue with it the way it is and has ducked into pit lane.
Here's the battle for the lead.
That's the story now, isn't it? And Shine, we've watched him do some pretty impressive stuff late in the races here. See if he's got anything for Martin Fuentes.
Well, you can't see that neither one of these guys is used to leading or winning. They've done a bunch of it this year.
Exactly.
So it's an even playing field right there. Martin obviously has the track position right now, but I think Michael Shine's going to give everything he's got in these last 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, I mean, Shine has 6 wins. Martin has 8. Oh, and Shine really close there into the attitudes.
Let's watch this because that Ferrari was really loose a couple of laps ago through here. A bit more settled there, but Shine's car does look better.
Well, and the interesting thing is this Ferrari is known to, it isn't a real heavy downforce car. It's slippery, which is its strength. But here where you've got that thin air, that downforce, it's even less. And maybe that's why that car tends to dance around a little bit. But that means he ought to be able to draw away down that straight, I would think.
Yeah, I saw some trap speeds just yesterday, and of everyone in this field, all of the GT cars included, the Ferrari was the quickest, just by a little bit. So they've got excellent straight line speed, and you talk about it as well. Oh, look at him laying the rubber there. That's going to cost him time. Shine's going to get a run on him.
Boy, and it's interesting because these cars do have TC, but obviously that's just loose now to Shine, and there's that straight line. But Shine, if he could stay close, maybe under braking, he can get it done. Looking to it down in Sunset. Not quite there, Cal.
Martin pushes it in really deep. Great move there, and he holds the line as well. Sometimes when you push that braking point a little bit deeper, you're going to run out wide. He didn't do so. Beautiful control by Martin Fuentes, but he's going to have to hang on here with under 3 minutes to go if he wants another victory.
And of course, traction control doesn't do anything for you if you're just flat too fast and exceeding the grip level that you're existing. So, and he's obviously pushing it just that hard, isn't he?
Well, sometimes with these TC settings, the traction control settings, they can be too intrusive and you're going to lose a lot of lap time. Spoke to John Fogarty about that this morning. He said it gets really busy around this racetrack. Oh, saw the big ride there by Michael Lewis in the background coming through Tuella Turn. Used a lot of curb.
Pushing very hard. I mean, he's, only now, it's less than 4 seconds behind Heitkotter. That's how close this group is, but we're running out of time, Cal, for these guys. And Long, he got a great run through windup and into release on the back of Adderley Fong once again.
But again, that Bentley is just a little bit stronger down this front straightaway, and he's not really close enough like he was a couple of laps ago to maybe think about a move down into turn 1. And again, he's got to be thinking big picture. Alvaro Parent is not broken into the top 10 here today. This is a huge point stay for Patrick Long.
Unbelievable, especially if he's able to pick up that one extra spot. Michael Cooper now sits in the 6th spot, and so he found one position here. But again, for Long, this is bonus time here, and anything he can do with Fong here. But as we talked about, Cal, knowing where Parent is, Pat's not going to do anything overly risky here. He'll take 3rd, take those points, and head to Sonoma.
Absolutely. It's just a marginal improvement in points from 3rd to 2nd. It's a big one if you throw it off the road. It's going to be a big gain over the course of, obviously, the weekend with Parent's 0 score yesterday, and Parent running in the 11th position right now with Pat Long in 3rd.
And we should be seeing, I would think, the white flag coming up this time by. And for Brian Heitkotter, who got his 2nd pole of the season with his fast lap in yesterday's race, maybe on his way to a very impressive win once again here. And I'll tell you, we have seen this throughout the course of this season, Cal. We talked about it, I think, at the start of our show from Mid-Ohio, the number of times we've seen a team and a driver sweep the weekend.
Well, the thing about the way the weekends are set up, if you got a dominant car, you go out there, you're able to get good clean air, you're able to lay down a fast lap, that gives you good track position for the next day. So this racetrack is a little bit different to Mid-Ohio. It's a lot easier to pass here than Mid-Ohio, but even so, that tends to be the way things roll here.
On to the front straight, one last time.
Oh, Long's really close.
Yes, he is.
Long is super close right now.
Boy, he'd love to do it if he can do it clean. But there you see the strength of that Bentley. It just eases away a little bit.
Well, I believe Long is too far back to think about it, but there he goes to the inside. I'd be trying to maximize my speed through turn 1 if I was Pat Long, set up through these first 4 corners and see if I'm in position, maybe for a move down into the hairpin.
And that's about 3 corners away. Adderley Fong right to the edge of the track, trying to carry everything, knowing he's got one of the world's best in his mirrors, and he wants to come by. And boy, Adderley got through that sequence of corners extremely well.
He's done a great job. Just really shown a lot of confidence right now behind the wheel of that Bentley.
Not to jinx it, but for Brian Heitkotter, very impressive here. He went out what looked like so hard early, and you thought, is he going to run things off here? The field caught up to him, then he gapped him a little bit. I think Brian has just driven an exceptionally well-judged race.
Seems to be in control.
Yeah.
Very confident. I think a new teammate coming on board this weekend, and Craig Dolby was marginally quicker than him in practice, and I saw Brian, he said, I don't like this guy being quicker, with a smile on his face. And he made a statement in qualifying, obviously the race is here this weekend.
And so Heitkotter through the attitudes for the final time in 2016 here at Utah Motorsports Campus through the Tuella Turn.
Oh, Long's got to run. He hasn't given up yet.
This is into Clubhouse, 3 turns to go.
Unless Fong makes a mistake, it would be a risky move on Pat Long's side to try and make anything happen through these final couple of corners. We've seen guys do it before, but it is risky. Fong's wide.
Can Long do anything with him here? Once they get on the front straight, it's going to be difficult. Up front of both, here comes Brian Heitkotter. They are going to do it. Nissan sweeps at Utah Motorsports Campus. That Nissan GT Academy team, what a phenomenal day. Rick Kulak and that AE team celebrating a sweep. Absolutely fantastic. Adderley Fong hanging on over Patrick Long. It was close, but Long just fading a little bit. Alec Udell going to have a dominant win here in terms of what it shows in the results column. Last time he was up over 12 seconds. And for Alec Udell, here he comes once again. It is going to be win number 10. And look at this battle behind him in GTA, Cal.
It's unbelievable, but Fuentes is just going to hang on for the victory over Shine.
And for Fuentes, that is win number 9. And for a non-spec category in the Pirelli World Challenge, that is a new season win record. You got Highcutter with the win in GT. You've got Martin Fuentes in GTA. In GT Cup, it is Alec Udell. And guess what? We're going to meet them all when we come back to Utah Motorsports Campus. Welcome back to a scorching Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Utah Motorsports Campus, presented by EnergySolutions. It's warm out, but the racing was just as hot. Some great stuff. And for Brian Highcutter, came in with a couple of poles, but no wins. Guess what? He now has 2. Jeff, it was a sweep.
Definitely a sweep. They say the first win is the hardest, but now you're a 2-time winner.
Yeah, it feels great. The car was so good yesterday. We made almost no changes today. Similar conditions, and just tried to do the same thing I did yesterday. Get out front early and manage the pace. And Adderley and Pat were strong behind me. I was able to hold them off for the duration, so it's a really good feeling. 2 in a row, clean sweep, and I like this momentum.
And that, of course, is a great story, Cal, but the bigger one, big picture, points. Wow.
What a swing here this weekend. Pat Long now leads this championship by 21 points, having coming into this weekend almost 100 behind. Brent sits there in second. Cooper's tightened things up as well. Johnny O'Connell still in full, but Highcutter closes things in with a sweep of the weekend.
And let's get right to our GTA Drivers' Championship points. And with a win, Martin Fuentes, it's just growing again.
It is. It's a shame that Frankie had his problems. Otherwise, he could have maybe cut into the gap to Michael Shine. But Fuentes, what a season he's putting together.
In fact, a record-breaking season twice over. 7 wins to start the year. That's a record. And Jeff, with his 9th win on the season for a non-spec class, that's a record too.
Well, Martin Fuentes, the 2016 season, record-breaking 9 wins in a non-spec class. It's going to be in the record books for a long time.
I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy. Thanks for these guys, man. These guys, if it wasn't because of these guys, it wouldn't be possible, man. I'm so happy for these guys, for myself, for of course Roberto, my engineer. So happy for everyone, man. We're back in the top spot, and so happy for everyone that support us.
Wow, what a character, what a driver, and of course, it was an opportunistic one for him today, but you take those when they come along. Cal, let's move to our Cadillac ATSV Move of the Race Award, and it was that outside move by Highcutter to hang on to the lead at the start.
Well, it was a move right at the start of this race, Greg, just like yesterday. A wide sweep of turn 1, takes it to the front, never to be headed again.
Yeah, controlled it from the lead. It was a beautiful thing. Of course, very important for the manufacturers is that points battle. Cal, where are we looking?
Well, that hurts McLaren as well. Porsche extends their lead up front. Cadillac sits in 3rd, but really tight now. Nissan on the move. Very tight to Cadillac.
And now we move to GT Cup, and what a race it was, full of intrigue and developments. And for Alec Udell at the end, it was his 10th win of the season, Jeff, a man on a mission.
That was a really tough one. McKay got ahead at the beginning. I made a mistake back in the attitude, so props to him. He led the race for a long time. I was able to get back by him. We had a 3 wide going into turn 10 there, and so it was a really hard battle. I didn't think I had any breathing room up until Sloan unfortunately had some kind of mechanical issue, I assume. So great racing with those guys. It was a really fun race. Hot day here at Utah Motorsports Campus. So.
Cal, he came into this race with the points lead, but with Yuri's off, that's opened up, hasn't it?
It's massive. It's almost 100 points now, which is hard to believe as nip and tucks it's been all season long. Yuri's 5th place finish really hurts him today.
And Cal, that 5th place finish precipitated by that mechanical problem we heard about from the team and Tyler Tadovic, as Sloan Uri for the Kia Turning Point had to drive off at the exit of turn 12. No fuel pressure in the car. It was a turning point indeed for the GT Cup points battle. And now let's move to our MotorTrendOnDemand.com Clean Pass of the Race Award, also in GT Cup. It was a beauty.
It was by Alec Udell on McKay Snow. It surprised everyone by leading the opening stint of this race. Just got a great charge off the attitudes and makes it stick down to the inside into Tuella Corner.
Fantastic pass, nicely done. Our BP Racing Fuels Hard Charger Award goes to Alvaro Parent. It will be small salve for the wound here, but he did move up 6 spots during the race and gets that Hard Charger Award. Now let's move to our Motul Fast Lap Award winners, and in GT it goes to Adderley Fong. What a drive he put in that Bentley. In GTA, Frankie Montecalvo, even with the issues, still had a great lap. And in GT Cup, it was indeed Alec Udell getting that once again. So Utah Motorsports Campus, it may be renamed, but it still presents the same challenges it has. But we go from the flattest track maybe we're going to race on in many ways to an event held on the side of a hill.
Yeah, in Sonoma, and then to finish off the season at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, our California swing is going to be exciting, as intense as this championship now is.
And we're in now to our final 3 races. Oh boy, it is going to be something special. Make sure and join us from Sonoma. But for now, for Jeff and Calvin and our entire CBS Sports Network crew, I'm Greg Creamer in association with WC Vision. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.